Next, we are moving to the topic of directing staff to develop a reapportionment ordinance based on Plan 4 or 5 from the final Portland State University Population Research Center's reapportionment report. And commissioners, just a heads up, you may have some new feedback from local electeds. I know I do. I've chosen to hold that until we have the opportunity to talk here in our open session so that I'm complying appropriately. Take it away, please.
All right. Good afternoon again, Chair Harrington and board. For the record on this agenda item, I'm Marnie Kyle, an assistant county administrator. I know who I am this time. And once again, we have a really collaborative cross-county team of experts that includes Joe from assessment and taxation. We have Tom Carr, Brenda. We have all sorts of folks that are really, Amanda is behind me as well, helping us with this project, a really important project. So today,
and I have to say, per the agenda, I forgot to take a break between these two subjects. Are we going to be okay going for another half hour? Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
This is riveting information.
For today, as with other agendas like this, we're going to review what is our key question for you all today. A really quick reminder of the project purpose for anybody that's listening in that doesn't know, a review of the timelines, the approved factors again, and then really dig into proposal 4 and 5, which you all asked us to bring forward for this conversation today. So the key question for today is, does your board accept the final reapportionment report developed by the Population Research Center at Portland State University from the county official? And so you should have received that in this packet. And then the second question is, which proposal does your board direct staff to include in an ordinance for the board to consider on the first reading on November 1st of 2022?
Who's doing?
That's me. Sorry.
Thank you.
So just as a reminder, the process required by Washington County Charter of redrawing the established commissioner boundaries, that is really the purpose of this project, is to review those boundaries every 10 years by the Census Bureau. As a result of population shifts, the lines are redrawn so the districts are roughly equal in population. Every county resident is represented by the county chair and a county commissioner elected from the district before the reapportionment process and after. So it's really important because some community members are a little confused, but before and after they will have a representative in their district. And with that, I'll turn it over to Joe to talk about the reapportionment timelines.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair Harrington and Board of Commissioners. For the record, my name is Joe Nelson. I'm the Director of Assessment and Taxation. We need to have the next slide, please. This is the timeline that we've seen over and over again. So I'll do a very quick overview of this because there may be members of the public who have not seen this. The process when we started this board directed us to focus on transparency, community trust, and a great deal of community engagement. And we've done that at every step of the way with this. A quick review, very beginning, I was appointed county official and I generated the report that said that District 2 was above the 105% threshold, which required us to do the reapportionment process. We developed factors and we referred those to Portland State University to come up with proposals. They initially came up with 4 proposals, and through community engagement and working with the board, proposal 2 was modified to 2B, and we added a 5th proposal. After community engagement, which was the next step, we met on September 27th, and we minimized or reduced these proposals from 5 down to proposal 4 and 5. Those are the two that remain. So today, the purpose is to present you with the final report and present and hopefully your acceptance. And after that, it's going to trigger the 90-day clock for the ordinance creation and adoption. In that process, it's going to be a first reading, then a second reading and a public hearing, and then finally the adoption. And we have a deadline on this as January 6th.
That is the statutory deadline?
No,
I can speak to that. That is a deadline that we've calculated based on the time someone would need to reside in the district if they sought to run for election in the 2024 election. You have to have lived in the district for 2 years before you take office, and the office date is January 6, 2025.
Thank you. Related to that, so hard stop at January 6, 2023. Worst case scenario, through our discussions today, we want a proposal that is a variation on either 4 or 5 or any combination. Through the ordinance process, do we have the flexibility to declare an emergency so that, or could you investigate that with your team so that if it's instead of 90 days, if it's 80 days, pulling a number out?
Sherrington, it's 30 days. So our plan is to adopt the final ordinance on November 29th, which would be 30 days before, essentially 31 days before, 32 days before the end of the year. So there is some flexibility. There isn't a meeting in there where we could get to exactly January 5th.
I can call a special meeting.
Yes, you can. So we could do that. We need 2 weeks between readings.
Yep.
So it gets a little challenging. And I've
But
thought
it
a
is
little bit
doable.
about.
I just feel like January 6th is doable.
Okay.
That's all. I'm just trying to make it clear that we just need to do what we can to provide clear direction. And I think we have it within our means to meet that deadline without putting.
So is the emergency clause available though? Should we?
I would lean against it. If it comes to something we need, I'd have to do some more research, but it's hard to say it's an emergency because we didn't meet our own deadlines. So,
But we're in crisis.
but again, if that's something I'd face, I'd have to research it and make sure it's defensible before you did that. I'm hoping we can meet our deadlines and not need to do an emergency, making an effective report. On the other part of this, to be clear, the deadline is a matter of courtesy. So as long as someone knows that you're changing it, they could make their plans. As a legal matter, it's neater if the ordinance is actually effective before that date, but it's not absolutely required. And Chair, to answer your question directly, there's no state law that says you have to do it. It just seems more fair to have the ordinance in place before someone would have to make a decision on where they were going to reside if they were going to run in 2024.
January 6th plus or minus 7 days. Got it.
So just following along that line of thought, Tom, trying to make sure that we don't take somebody out of a district into another district and then all of a sudden they don't have 2 years in that district. Do we have any way to determine in proposals 4 and 5 how many people we're taking out of one district and putting in another district? Do we have a head count?
Yes.
It's in
that?
the report.
Absolutely. So the
Okay.
districts have to
Haven't
be
seen
roughly
that.
150,000 people, and and District 2 was larger by about.
No, I was
10,000.
talking about how many people are we taking out of District 2 and putting in District 4 if we go with proposal 5? How many people we taking out of District 4 and putting into District 1? Because District 1 spreads way around and encroaches over in lots of my rural areas. So do we?
The answer is about 3,300. About 10,000 are coming out of District 2, and about 3,300 are being added to the other districts to bring them up all to the.
So you just divide what we're taking out of her.
Roughly. I mean, the number,
Hopefully.
those are not even numbers. They'll be
Yeah, I was
off
gonna
by a
say,
few,
yeah.
but yes, that's because the proposals before you have 4 equal districts. So we've had to reduce the size of District 2 and increase the size of the others. So the math is pretty
I
straightforward.
get that. I just didn't do the
Even I
math
can do
there.
it.
I saw you have your calculator out there.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate the clarity on that. So thank you, Tom. This slide is also a review. This is the initial factors that we created the proposals with. It had the Secretary of State factors from a directive. The Board of Commissioners, this Board of Commissioners added 3 in the community from community engagement, added another 2. Next slide. At our last meeting, September 27th, what this board was asking for was a compare and contrast between proposals 4 and 5. What we're going to present in the next series of maps is one high-level map, which is what you're looking at there. And it has the current boundaries as compared to proposals 4 and 5. And then we're going to move into another set of maps for similarities. And then finally, a series of maps that are differences. With this, how to read this map is the gray line, the dark gray line is the current boundaries. The tan in the center of both 4 and 5 on this is going to be District 1. North of that is the green area, that's District 2. And the pink color there, salmon color, it's District 3, and the blue is District 4. This is high level of just proposals 4 and 5. Next slide, please. So this is kind of a zoom in that I'm going to be able to talk about the similarities. The similarities of these, if we look at District 2, right in the center, if you go to the east, the county border, the similarity there between 4 and 5 is the Garden Home Whitford area. That's common between the two. On the southern border of District 1 is going to be the Barrows Road and Progress area. And if you notice up on, probably easier to see with Proposal 5, there's a cutout there just north of Sunset Highway. That is going to be the industrial area part of City of Hillsborough. It goes from Cornelius Pass Road through Brookwood and up to West Union Road. That is similar on both maps as well, but on Proposal 4, you don't see it as a cutout. It's just that whole area is not there for Proposal 4. The last similarity noted by PSU is along the Tualatin River. If you look at District 3, it's that kind of the jagged line there. That's the South Hillsborough area, and that's common between Proposal 4 and Proposal 5 as well. So next slide, please. This is a written form of those similarities that I just talked about on the map. Nothing different here. These are the 4 that I just described. So next slide, please.
Can you go back for 1 second? That road right there,
Yes,
which road is it
That's-
again?
Cornelius Pass Road.
Yep.
Okay,
I was there. Thank you.
thank you. What you're going to see with this map, we're going to be able to talk about the differences. And in this, the red area in the middle, that's District 1. North of that is District 2 in blue. Green is going to be District 3, and that's the southern part of the county. And the large area in purple is District 4. What you see scattered throughout this is those diagonal light colored areas, the diagonal hash lines. Those are areas that change. They're different between Proposal 4 and Proposal 5. And we're going to cover each one of those in the following slides. Next slide, please. Okay, to start with, that's correct. To start with, let's talk about that area north of Sunset Highway. That's going to be the area from Jackson School Road to Cornelius Pass Road. And that has on the one side of that, the cutout area, I just described about City Hillsborough, the industrial area around West Union Road there. And if you notice also on the western side of that, it does not include North Plains, nor the expansion area of North Plains. So this area, what's going to happen with this is in Proposal 4, this area is in District 4, and in Proposal 5, it's in District 2. So one area of note is no matter what we do with this area, it does not affect North Plains or the expansion area.
Could I also make a note that not tall. This edge follows the state redistricting. So this is in the new Senate district. This part is in Senate district. Gee, Catherine. 16, 18. So they based it off of the factors that we asked them to.
Thank you. And you're right, that border right there, that is the Jackson School Road area right there, that border. And it goes,
To Moreland and Dorland, or Dorland and then Moreland.
and there was a question that I am prepared to answer as far as the population of this area. It's 1,660 population. I did an analysis of what would happen if it was changed in area in Plan 5. It would create a difference between District 2 and District 4 of close to 4,000 people. It created a population disparity.
Okay. Okie dokie. Much higher than my rule of thumb. Thank you.
So you're saying 4 versus 5 created that disparity?
No.
This area, the
Currently-
yellow area.
Currently, right now, proposal 4 and 5, they're right on, really close, almost right on the money for hitting 150,000 is the target. Okay, if in proposal 5, this area that's highlighted in yellow was to move to District 4, that's where the disparity would occur.
Huh.
Only within proposal 5 by moving it. Okay.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Now, this is the next area in yellow. That's the area, I guess it's just west of Gaston Road. It goes to the Southern County border. Just north of that, on the north side, is going to be the Tualatin Valley River. A lot of the locals know the area on the east side is going to be Fern Hill, Spring Hill, and Iowa Hill. In proposal 4, this is in District 4, and in proposal 5, it's in District 3. Next slide. This is the Beaverton Light Rail Corridor. And on one side of it is going to be, on the south side is going to be the Beaverton Hillsdale Highway. And the north side is going to be the Canyon Road area. I need to note a discrepancy in the next couple lines. It says in proposal 4, this is in district, and it should read 2. So the 1s and 2s got reversed on this. So in proposal 4, this is in district 2. And then in proposal 5, this is in district 1.
The slides are different than that.
The online is correct then.
The online, okay, it has.
This one says District 2 and District
Yeah.
1.
Okay,
Oh, this is right. The online is wrong.
That's right.
Okay, so this one's been corrected.
okay.
Wait, can you
Very
say
good.
that again?
Yeah.
The one we're looking at here is correct or not correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. I didn't know if it was corrected at this point, but we wanted to make sure it was on the record.
So one we're
Correct.
looking at.
And it
here.
looks like they beat us to it.
But what you said was not consistent with it being correct. So let's just go over it one more time.
One more time. In proposal 4, this area in yellow, the Beaverton Light Rail Corridor, is in District 1. That is correct. And in proposal 5, this area is in District 2.
So this,
We have a switch.
right, the slide we're showing has been corrected. The one you're looking at online. It's opposite.
I didn't realize that they had fixed it already. So thank you. Sorry about the
Nope, it's okay. We're just trying to make
Yeah.
sure we got it. So clean line. In 5.
Okay, good. The area in yellow here, this is going to be the Farmington Road area, Cooper Mountain. It contains Riggs Road, Rosedale, Baker Rock, and Jenkins Estate. In proposal 4, this is in District 1. In proposal 5, this is in District 3. Next slide. This is the area surrounding the Aloha Intel campus. It's between 209th and 198th, and it goes south to Ravenwood Street. In proposal 4, it is in District 3. In proposal 5, it is in District 1. Next slide. This is the northeast Aloha area, 170th to 185th, and from Tualatin Valley Highway north to the light rail. This is in proposal 4. In proposal 4, this is in District 1. In proposal 5, this is in District 2. Next slide, please. This is the northwest part of Aloha. South border is Tualatin Valley Highway, north to Baseline, and it runs from Cornelius Pass Road to 198th. In proposal 4, this is in District 4. In proposal 5, this is in District 1. Okay, this wedge-shaped area runs from Baseline to the light rail, and on the western side, it's the Cornelius Pass Road. In proposal 4, this is in District 2, and proposal 5, this is in District 1. Next slide, please. This is the Tanasbourne Amber Glen area. It's north of the light rail and runs up north to the Sunset Highway. It's runs to the west side, it's Cornelius Pass Road, and on the east, 185th. In proposal 4, it is in District 2. In proposal 5, it's in District 4. Next slide, please. And the last area that's different between proposal 4 and 5 is this area. It's the Jackson Bottom Wetlands, includes Arbor Roses, and heads east to Minter Bridge Road. In proposal 4, this is in District 4, and in proposal 5, this is in District 3. Next slide, please. This is a repeat slide, but it helps you kind of look at what we just talked about, the differences between the two, and you're able to kind of envision the similarities and differences throughout this whole area. So next slide. And with that, I can turn it over to Tom Kerr.
So today, you're receiving the final report of Portland State University. I know that our question said that you had to accept it. This is not a formal board action. The charter only requires that that we provide it. It doesn't require that you take any action. But if you don't like it, obviously we're staff and we'll take direction to bring it back and do something different. But so when we say receive or accept, we're not using those informal board action terms. So we've scheduled for November 1st, first reading of the ordinance. So our goal today is to have you tell us which of the two proposals, 4 or 5, to include in that ordinance. So that would be first reading on November 1st, and then second reading would be November 29th, which is there are only 2 board regular meetings in the state in the month of November. So that's why they're separated by a full month. The new boundaries would then become effective December 29th, 2022. And then in the winter of 2023, one of the most important parts of this that I didn't mention when I talked about the deadline was the elections division has to do a lot of work to get ready for the next election by creating new boundaries for many of the precincts in the county. So they need a lot of lead time before the election to make sure they have that absolutely right for the voters to know where they're going to vote.
But you recommend clarifying question?
Yes.
It seems to me that the proposals that you put together tried to take advantage of legislative districts per the criteria, hence using those the new precinct numbers.
I don't know that was, I don't remember that being part of the criteria that we gave to PSU.
It may have just worked out that way.
Okay.
And yes, many of the precincts will be the same, but still we have to check every single one to make sure that they're right.
Absolutely.
Next slide, please, Maureen. So one question, do you accept the final report? And that is, do you give us direction that you don't want that report? And the big question, which one of the proposals would you like to include as in the ordinance that we're proposing for first reading on November 1st?
So
Go ahead.
first, I just want to share information. I asked for input yesterday in the monthly chair mayors meeting. We'd previously made sure that Daniel helped me make sure they knew what our process was, what we were doing for public engagement, what proposals were on the table. So yesterday I asked them, okay, we have proposals 4 and 5 before us. What are the comments? So there were multiple mayors who said, you know, we don't really have a dog in fight, so to speak. I did check, Mayor Callaway was there, Mayor Truax was there, Mayor Lenahan was there. Mayor Lenahan expressed concern, which I'll get to in a minute. Mayor Beatty was not at the meeting, so I checked with her individually, and she looked at both proposals 4 and 5 and is fully aware of how Beaverton is currently present in both district boundaries. But as we talked about previously, it utilizes the urban planning area agreements, but makes a nice clear line in proposal 5 that helps with the constituent communication of which district are they in. So that was her input to us, informal input to us. With regard to Mayor Lenahan and North Plains, could we show slide 8? Or this one? It doesn't matter.
This one?
No, I just need that yellow box.
Oh,
To go away.
There we go. I need to be able to see that
Yeah.
hatch mark up
Okay.
there. Okay, so the current District 2 line goes out to Jackson School, Dorland and Moreland. That little notch up there that goes to the west. Are you with me? Yep. Okay. So I looked on our elections webpage to the new redistricting maps. And over that away, west of the hatch marks is, be tall, Catherine. This is in the Senate district. 8,
16.
thank you. And this is in 18. So that is taking advantage. Plan 5 is taking advantage of your current district boundary and those other political boundaries,
Plan 5.
right? Her concern is that
Hers being Mayor Lenahan.
Mayor Lenahan concern around that community of that westerly portion of the hatch mark. But for lack of better boundary, all the way to Cornelius Pass Road. She was saying that, well, this area makes more sense with affinity towards Beaverton, Bethany. But she was concerned and preferred Plan 4, which has this in District 4, because of the legislative changes that they've gone through with being part of a Senate district over with Columbia County, so on and so forth. But in looking at the state legislative maps, this Plan 5 continues to follow the state legislative maps. So her concern about that change doesn't seem to apply to those folks versus other surrounding area folks that are affected by the Senate district changes with Columbia County. But I just wanted to make sure that I gave you a heads up that she preferred Plan 4 over Plan 5 because of her viewpoint of people in that area. Does that match with what you heard last night, Commissioner Willie?
Yes, that she prefers Plan 4, and I believe that I do too, for two reasons. One is, as she stated, but the other one is in Plan 5. It appears that District 1 stretches clear over and consumes a portion of Gaston. So you'd be putting Little Gaston in two districts, which seems kind of inconsistent.
District 1? Wait a minute.
District 1 and see, if you look at proposal number 5 and you expand it open a lot, you'll see it reaches out and touches Gaston and swings up towards.
District 3.
Not District 1.
Yeah, I was like, how did I get?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, District 3.
Do you want me to?
I was thinking Roy's district.
Okay.
No, it's right here. He's talking about this
Okay.
area.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
talking
yeah.
about that area right there.
Yeah,
Sorry, Nafisa, I didn't mean to
I
expand.
was like, how did District 1 get all the way?
No, I don't want to represent it, but there was for the District 4 adjustments, doing some consolidation around for the city of Hillsborough, and the fact that District 4 needs to help reduce the size of District 2, and District 3 needs to get bigger for the other adjustments made here. And so that's how District 3 swung over. Do you by any chance know how many residents are in that area?
Not at this time.
Yeah.
Can't be a lot, but no, I guess, so can we, at this point in time, can we redraw some of these lines? And do we have to go back and start over again? Is that what you're telling us, Tom?
Redrawing would delay. So if you redraw the lines, we have to get PSU to make sure they balance out. So that's an effort that takes usually a week or two. And we don't have that much time, but I mean, you're the commission, you can direct us. And as I said, the January 6th deadline is a matter of courtesy. It's not required by state law. You can go by it. And so it's your comfort level is really what's most important here.
I'd much prefer we get it right rather than.
Before we,
be
I
under-
have some
under
questions
rush.
before we talk about redrawing lines.
So I was just
You'll give-
asking if we
yeah.
could, if
Yeah.
that was a possibility. If he said, nope, you can't take 4, take 5, you get it or leave it. So
Well, take forfeit would certainly be my preference, but you're the commission. You get to do what you want.
So I have a couple of questions. When I'm looking at this map, the two areas where are both maps next to each other, proposal 4 and 5. So I'm on page 9.
Slide 9 or slide?
It says page 9 on the bottom right.
slide 9.
This one. Oh,
Oh, that one.
It's the one right after 8.
right there.
That one.
Yeah,
Got it.
one. So
There's two of them that are side by side. I'm with you.
there are a couple places where the lines are really all over the place. And this was brought up when the chair mentioned Mayor Beatty's response to wanting a smooth line.
These lines being all over the place,
Well, right,
Okay.
being,
jagged.
and so my question is, first of all, what in District 4, is that District 4 in the northwestern part there does that line follow a river? Does it follow, what does that follow?
That's the Tualatin River there.
That's what I
She was
thought.
just-
Okay.
Yes.
So, but in
Good
Beaverton, what causes that?
That's that high density light rail corridor. And what they did in District 4, they were looking at community boundaries. So it's going to outline parks, school districts, that type of thing. So it takes a small change to make a big population change when you're in that light rail high density area.
Okay, so my point here is that I understand a natural boundary being a river.
Mhm.
That makes sense to me, but it's difficult for me. I understand what you're saying in terms of getting the numbers correct. You move the line around, but if I'm a community member, that's pretty confusing to me to be in that type of situation there. So I just want to put that out on the table right
Your
now.
concern is this. giant-
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't really think about it when I was looking at these originally until the chair mentioned Lacey's preference for a straight line there. And I can understand that from a community perspective. So, and that doesn't even get into the state legislature districts. That's a separate issue altogether.
And that's a very good observation. When you're looking at one proposal 5, you're looking at cities, UPAAs, and in proposal 4, you're actually looking at the community items, which may not be as clean. If you're looking for clean lines, perhaps the cities and the UPAAs are more in line.
And I'm not saying that I'm looking for that. I'm just saying that I want to understand what our decision, how the decision is going to impact those communities and what the reaction might be there.
Well, you're hitting on why I prefer 5 over 4
Yeah.
with regard to that boundary. Having navigated
Yeah.
jagged edges like that for 12 years in my prior role. And hearing the kind of questions.
And even the other somewhat jagged areas are not as kind of crazy as those are in proposal 4. So I think I am going to be leaning to proposal 5.
Well, so I guess I'm following with
Can we
Mayor.
hear from Commissioner
Okay.
Fry first?
Thank you, Chair Harrington. I wasn't sure if there was a vote or I just had a comment. Yeah, I think, 4. I wish we were looking at 1, but anyway, so we won't go back. Yeah, 4 and 5. I think the section of Aloha that gets dropped in proposal 5, the part that is between 170th and 185th. My understanding is that's about 20% of the total population in the Aloha.
I don't know those numbers. I'm sorry.
And that's, Brenda and I were like doing our homework here, and it sounds like that's 20% of the Aloha population. And I think one of the factor being, communities of common interest not being split was one of the factors that we agreed on. And then to see the Aloha community be split, I mean, both proposals here are, one is splitting 3 times versus 1 time. So for me, I prefer proposal 5, but I will venture something that Tom doesn't like and to say that I like to see that section added back in to ensure that community stays together, if that's possible.
I have no idea where you're referring.
Mhm,
Here. Point. Please.
Okay.
Are you
Where's-
taller?
I am not sure if I'm taller, and I'm not,
Oh,
so.
yeah, she's taller than me.
Not that
I know
tall.
standing next to her.
170th. I think you have a better, yeah, there you go. They have a slide actually. So there's this one,
piece.
yeah.
Can you move the yellow box?
Here,
No,
that yellow.
It's kind of a pain in the
Can you move the yellow box or get us on a map that gives us more
Or you-
information so we can get aligned with streets?
Uh,
Oy, oy, oy. I'll look at my screen.
Which side is that?
Yeah, back.
It's this one. Yeah,
The first one.
this one right here.
That's.
I don't know.
Keep going.
Just what's the box thing? What's the,
I think.
yeah,
I thought.
starts with what? Oh, okay, this is northeast, all between 170th and. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which slide to go?
That's what Brenda and I were crunching.
Oh, we wondered that.
You have to have neighborhood.
It's
It's in the report. It's in the
Oh.
report.
Oh,
It's in the report. All the numbers.
No,
Yeah, all the numbers are in the report.
Yeah, they're in the report. That's what we're calculating. It's a rough.
Slide
one,
without any boxes,
but
which is this.
We're not making it up. I'm good at homework.
So you're proposing.
Wait a sec, we can't have just a sub conversation in our public meeting?
So, there is a laser pointer on here if any of you,
No, you had it, Marnie.
no, but if you want to use it because you were trying to point.
You know,
things
and
out.
you know what you're talking about. I'm trying to
Figure out which slide.
get some settling here.
So may I ask you what you were suggesting in that, since I don't now have this in front of me, are you suggesting that part be included in District 1 or?
Yeah,
So you, but that's proposal 4.
no,
Oh, is this the one that we're flip flopped or something?
this is the conversation to redraw.
We wanted it without the yellow box, friend.
Yeah.
So,
If it's not possible.
so the reason,
I prefer slide 5.
Now, the concern with
concern
that
I
one-
have on this one is there isn't, Aloha isn't a city. So keeping a like community is really talking about very loose boundaries. You know, Aloha is split in so many different ways already. And we know, well, I'm trying to not. I just trying to keep Aloha whole. There's no such thing. It's all perceived. There's a perception of community in an unincorporated area that has no community set development. It's all retained in various community members' minds. So,
So, I think we can do whatever your board directs us to do. We can ask PSU to do that. But our concern, we can tell just by looking, that's a very densely populated area. And so it's going to be a lot of people. And
Yeah,
that's
20%.
going to mean a lot of shifts in every other area. So it will be a relatively large change. You know, in addition
solving
to
one
any other
problem, but
apps.
creating others.
I mean, we can,
And is Beaverton's split too, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's split between two commissioner districts. Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out, that it's, that we kept Hillsborough whole. This,
No, Hillsborough is 3 districts.
is it 3? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
But we provided more line clarity, I think.
Brenda tells me that area has about 8,000 people.
Oh, geez, that's a big.
That's almost as much as how District 2 was over.
Yeah. 20%.
Yeah, geez. Originally, it was page 57 had really great chart for that. And I was testing the deviations. And once you get away from increasing by 270 people, your deviations are very significant. So that's why it was so impactful for me to hear that 400 number, because I tried another deviation, another change of 500 people, right? Thinking about a generally rural area, how can there be more than 500 people there? Well, it's, you know, households and population are different. And that took the deviation out to 0.65%, which is huge. So, yeah.
So I'm still advocating that if North Plains wants to be an all one district and it's 128 people is what I think I heard the mayor say last night. I don't know why we can't facilitate that. I realize we're going to have to go back if we do that. I also,
No,
I also,
North Plains is still in one district.
no, North Plains got 128. That's what the mayor was saying to the north in district proposal 5.
So
North Plains has 128 people or something in District 2.
well, there's something that you and she see that I
Well-
don't currently follow yet.
This was never in.
No, she said that. I don't know what it is.
it
It's something up
potential
north
annex
of,
area?
it's something up north of, probably north of Pumpkin Ridge up there. It has to be because you kind of swing up there, it looks like. Because that's your current line too.
Yeah.
Proposal 5 is your
I've
current
never-
line. So I have not gone in and looked at exactly where that line is drawn and if that, but she said they're in their zip code and they're in their North Plains city.
They're not in their UGB. Uh-uh.
I didn't, if it was North Plains, then it would not be in Metro either, right? And I've never known that any area, I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm saying that there's a lot of factors that would go into making me know that it was in District 2. And
Well, your metro lines don't follow.
Well, you met this, yeah.
North Plains is not.
I
in
think we
Metro.
can put this to bed. I have an expert in the room who can tell you, answer your question, Erin Wardell. She looked at this morning.
Aaron
Good.
Wardell, all right.
So staff can call its own expert up,
Yes, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that
just being clear.
Brenda said she talked to Erin this morning about this very issue.
It did come up. So I pulled North Plains planning maps, which show the existing boundary of North Plains, as well as their future UGB expansion areas under consideration. In either scenario, North Plains is all kept together. Jackson School Road is the boundary of North Plains.
Okay, all right, as long as we communicate that to the mayor, I'm fine with that then. Okay,
Sorry, Erin, and thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
so Aaron, while you're there, you didn't know this because I didn't ask the question, but as you drop down into proposal 5, is the city of Gaston bifurcated between 2 different districts?
I did not look into the city of Gaston, so
I
I
think
would.
my concern, quite frankly, is that District 3 spreads so far west that if someone is living in Tualatin, they're really not going to represent that area of the county.
So Commissioner Willie, as I understand it, proposal 5 keeps all of Gaston in District 4.
What it looks like it kind of wraps around it. a
Yeah,
little bit.
and the note I've got from Brenda is that there is some surrounding area that would move to District 3, but no part of the actual city itself.
Because that city, you know, is also in Yamhill County.
I did not know that.
About half of it is in Yamhill County.
Not population wise, it's not.
No,
Looked.
And Commissioner Willie, I'd also take exception to, I think what I heard you say was if the commissioner lived in Tualatin, they wouldn't represent Gaston.
it'd be a hike for them.
Well, but if anybody has a hike and if anybody sees representation, you're there. So I really, I
You're
don't
not
buy that. Sorry.
I'm just saying it's going to be a challenge, you know?
Commissioner staff is confirming Gaston, so I would suggest just moving on to other questions while we just work on the side on confirming that.
Okay.
Erin is confirming that Gaston is all kept together. Erin is confirming that Gaston is all kept together, the city.
In proposal 5.
Has confirmed,
Has confirmed.
not confirming, has confirmed.
Gaston together.
That's good, because you know, all 300 of them want to be in the same box.
What do we think?
Because I'm going there tomorrow night, I want to tell them.
Proposal 5.
On proposal 5 as well.
Where's Roy on this?
He's not here.
I
Commissioner
understand that.
5,
I'm on 5 and 5. Really?
And Commissioner Willie, I believe he favored proposal 5 as well at the last meeting, but I could be mistaken. Because
Well, if I remember the
Not that it makes
discussion,
any
it
difference,
was
'cause you got
about,
3 5s already.
it was about city and urban planning area agreement, and that was what his interest was to work, to be focused there. So I believe you're correct, Mr. Carr.
And Commissioner Willie, do you have direction?
Liked 4.
Are you in favor of 4? Okay, but I have 3 that say 5.
I know, so
Okay, just wanted to
it's
confirm.
familiar territory for me.
Commissioner Willie.
So getting the direction from the commission, we will bring back an ordinance on November 1st that incorporates proposal number 5.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And I assume that you have no challenges with the report, so we will consider it delivered to you as satisfying the charter.
And
Well,
thank you for
I
your
can
work.
confirm that you've provided it for us, if that's what you're looking for.
That's all.
Since that's all we have. to-
And when we thank folks, we should have thanked Brenda Bartlett. She has done an amazing job of keeping us all on track. And as you can see, she's
Yes.
running around the room and sending us information as we go. So she has been a tremendous part of this team. And I know that we mentioned her.
Thank you, Brenda.
I thought I did, but
Oh.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, it's time for a break.